Yesterday, I downloaded Chocobo GP for the Nintendo Switch, and I am beyond disappointed. When I saw the announcement trailer for this game in a Nintendo Direct, I was honestly pretty excited. I mean, a kart racer game with characters from Final Fantasy and racetracks inspired by locations throughout the Final Fantasy series? The game was practically made for me, and it only got better once I discovered that Vivi, my favorite character in the entire franchise, was going to be a playable racer in it. I was sort of vaguely aware of the Chocobo Racing sub-series and the other Chocobo games and whatnot. I knew it had sort of a lore to its own, how it had its own little weird corner of Final Fantasy, but honestly, it had Vivi, and that was enough for me, honestly. Shortly after its announcement, however, it became apparent just how heavily monetized the game was going to be. It had an almost free-to-play system going on where you had a premium currency that you used to buy a season pass to unlock rewards and more currencies, but honestly, I didn't mind, because earlier this year, a little game called Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel came out. A game with a free-to-play premium currency model that was honestly pretty generous with its free resources. Its season pass system allowed you to earn rewards relatively quickly, even if you lost duels, so I thought that this game might be more of the same, but sweet merciful Yevon, was I wrong. I mean, for starters, Master Duel didn't charge you $50 up front. Let me try to break it down for you just how bad the monetization in this game is. You use real-world money to buy a proprietary in-game currency called Mithril, and some of these prices and the amounts that you can buy Mithril in are absolutely ludicrous. I didn't get any screenshots of it, but there's a pack of Mithril that's like $80. And it does that thing that a lot of freemium games do, where the proprietary in-game currency is sold in awkward bundles, so you always end up buying a little more than what you need. But the thing is, in this game, you can't even hoard the proprietary in-game currency because it expires. Who heard of an in-game currency expiring like their rewards points at a restaurant or something? My gosh. So, you always have to buy more than you need. You can't hoard it because it's going to expire, so you have to spend all of it and buy more once the next thing releases. And to top it all off, this is for a game that you paid $50 for up front. I don't know why they thought it was a good idea to make this game a live service model. All they had to do was make a Mario Kart style kart racer with Final Fantasy characters and it would have sold like hotcakes. This is Final Fantasy, you know? It's not like Dragon Quest, where outside of its country of origin, it's kind of niche, and it's not like The World Ends With You, where the company actively tries to get people to forget it exists. This is Final freaking Fantasy. It would have made a bundle either way, but no. Square Enix got greedy. They saw dollar signs and the ability to string people along, especially kids who this game is clearly marketed towards. And yeah, don't you just love it when games marketed towards children have bundles of in-game currency priced upwards of $80? But let's say, for the sake of argument, that instead of paying through the nose to get the stuff, you instead decide to play the game normally. So you hop into the Chocobo GP mode, play a race, place reasonably well, and wait, that's it? And bear in mind that in order to unlock Cloud, you know, one of the major selling points of this game and arguably the main character of the franchise, you need to get yourself to level 60. And I know that in the footage I only placed in 4th, but you'll just have to take my word for it that placing in 1st isn't much better. And that's assuming that you even manage to place at all, because, well, you know that stereotype about Mario Kart games where you can get knocked from 1st place all the way to last place in like 5 seconds thanks to the random number gods deciding to make your day miserable? Well, I never really felt that way about Mario Kart, but I definitely feel that way about this game. So your choices are either pay through the nose to buy a ton of proprietary in-game currency that you don't need, that you can't even hoard properly because it expires, or treat this game like your second job. And just to add salt to the wound, the game still has the DLC characters appear as opponents in single-player games, just reminding you that they're there. And this was right off the heels of Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel, may I remind you. Another freemium game that was honestly pretty generous with its free stuff. But oh wait, no, I keep calling this a freemium game when it's not. It's $50. It's almost a full-priced retail release. And just to add insult to injury, it's digital only outside of Japan, so I can't even trade this game in. And I wanted so desperately to like this game. I really did. I mean, for one thing, it has Vivi, again, a character I absolutely adore. It has a version of Terra, which is really interesting and really unique compared to her other portrayals through Final Fantasy spin-off media. We got a lot of playable summons. It's honestly a pretty fun lineup. You know, for a minute, I was legitimately horrified that Shiva might be dabbing here, but considering that this is Japanese and not American, she's probably doing some other funny meme dance from across the pond. And the minute-to-minute gameplay honestly isn't that bad, random number gods aside. But one place I feel the game absolutely dropped the ball was with its racetracks. Like, I was super excited to see what environments from across Final Fantasy would get recreated as racetracks here, only to discover that there are like 7 or 8 places total that get used for like 3 or 4 tracks with minor differences. And the thing is, the tracks themselves aren't even that bad. There are a lot of fun little details that only fans would notice. Like in the Alexandria map, for example. Look at that. That's the swinging cage from that bit where you have to escape by swinging your cage back and forth and crashing it into a wall. That's fun. That's cool. That's attention to detail. But, it's just things like that that make me angry above all else. There was something here. Something, like a great idea for a game. Something that would be beloved by all who played it, but no, Square Enix got greedy, they got yen signs in their eyes, and they milked it for all it was worth while cutting corners wherever they could. There is absolutely no reason this game should have been a premium currency live model game. I mean, for crying out loud. Crash Team Racing started this way, but they eventually made their season pass free. When Activision is doing something better than Square Enix, that is not a good sign. This game kind of made me think about that Nickelodeon fighting game that came out a while ago. You know, the one everyone said was going to kill Smash Brothers, but everyone immediately forgot about. I played that game with some friends, and yeah, it was shallow. Yeah, it was made with a shoestring budget, but it was clearly made with heart by people who wanted to make a good product, who wanted to make something fun. And this game is too, to an extent, but any passion that went into this game is drowned out by the corporate greed behind this game's business model. It has no excuse to be what it is. I haven't been this disappointed by a game in a long, long time. And this is coming from somebody who bought Marvel's Avengers day one. I know this video was short and unscripted, but I just had to get my thoughts out because honestly, the more I think about it and the more I talk about it, the more I examine just what lies under the hood of this game, the more and more pissed off I get. And again, the game itself is passable as a kart racer. It's just everything surrounding it just makes me want to strangle something. Over these past couple years, it's been harder and harder for me to be a fan of Square Enix because of all the questionable business practices they've been doing. Really, the only thing keeping that candle still lit is Final Fantasy XIV. And rest assured, I will be getting Final Fantasy XVI the second it comes out, don't worry. But just thinking about this game, the fact that there was so much potential for something great that was stamped out and ruined by corporate greed, I just couldn't not talk about it. Anyway, this is RV Micah. I apologize so much for the year-long drought of content. I'm going to be rebranding this channel soon, as a matter of fact, so stay tuned for that. And until then, I cannot wait for that Mario Kart DLC to come out. That is going to be such a palate cleanser.